penny to a million. Cigarette, a pack with a coupon on the back, and hear this. If you had $1 million, $1 million, you couldn't buy a better cigarette than Raleigh. Raleigh and the W.A. Schaefer Pen Company present television's exciting new game, Penny to a Million. And now, with exactly $1 million in his jeans, here is Raleigh's man of means, Bill Goodwin.
Wow. Hi, thank you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for that wonderful welcome back home, and welcome to you to Penny to a Million, which is the show on which you know where we play the game. We start with one lowly penny, and we let them run it up into a fortune. I want you to meet first four wonderful people picked from our studio audience going to play the game with me tonight, our first panel. And on my left is Frank Pod. Obviously, hi, you, Frank, a very happy California face. You're from here, aren't you?
No, sir. I'm from Chicago.
And I flew 3,000 miles for this, Frank. Well, Frank, may I ask you this? I understand you're sort of a newlywed. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Quite recently.
Uh-huh.
About 6 months.
Is that right, Frank
Yes,
Pod? And where did you meet your wife?
Well, sir, booth number one, so to speak.
Booth number one. You work for the telephone company?
No, Bill. I'm an optician for the Spratt Optical Company.
Oh,
I'm taking measurements for her glasses. You see, I looked in her eyes, and that was it.
Measured your wife. Measured that girl in booth one, huh? Well, thank you, Frank. To your left is Mrs. Blanche Hurst, and you're from Mrs. Hurst. You're Californian, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Well, I just left that territory. And what do you do, Blanche?
Well, I'm a housewife, but I'm studying chiropractic.
You are studying chiropractic?
That's right.
What interested you in that?
Well, my husband is a licensed chiropractor, and I became interested while he was studying. He isn't practicing at present.
Oh, he isn't?
No.
What happened?
He threw out his sacroiliac.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, you can treat him as soon as you're an expert.
That's the idea.
Okay, and good evening to Bonnie Johnson. I'm not going to ask you because I put down here from Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's where you're from?
That's
Bonnie,
right.
you're awful pretty. Tell me, how did you get out from Fort Wayne, Indiana to little old Hollywood here?
Well, I came out with an uncle, and when I was out
This is a likely story, Bonnie. I'll check this later. We should have rehearsed, I think. Down there, way in the end key position on fourth base is Reuben Carson from Toronto, right?
That's right.
And what do you do, Reuben?
I'm in the upholstery business in Glendale.
In the upholstery business, huh?
Yes.
Is it a big company, Reuben?
Well, rather extensive. My father and I.
It sounds like the profits are good. You're a married man, are you?
Yes, I sure am.
Does your wife help you in the business?
Yes, she does. She helps spend the money.
Just like wives everywhere. I got the same problem at home. Well, I just want to welcome you to Penny to a Million. We're going to play our game in a second, too. So you get your thinking caps on, won't you? Huh? All right. Now, you home viewers, here's your chance to get something for free. Beautiful gifts you'll really be proud to own. You just watch Helen and Harry Hart right here.
Come in and join us, won't you? We're using some of the premiums we got free for Raleigh coupons. Take this perfectly wonderful West Bend automatic percolator. It's free.
Helen Hart, I just can't believe you and Harry got it free.
It's true. And this lovely Melmac dinnerware 16-piece set. It's free, too.
How about this Toastwell automatic toaster? You'd pay $18.75 anywhere, but we got it free for Raleigh coupon.
Got that lovely kitchen clock for free, too.
This Raleigh coupon plan's really got everything. Over 100 different gifts free for Raleigh coupon.
You get 14 coupons in every carton, tipped or plain. So we buy Raleigh's by the carton.
And hear this. If you had $1 million, $1 million, you couldn't buy a better cigarette than Raleigh. So smoke king-size Raleigh's and save those Raleigh coupons.
Here we go. On with a penny to a million. But first, here's my old Western friend, Jay Stewart, to tell you how the game works. Jay?
Thank you, Bill. Bill Goodwin is going to fire questions at you, and you get 5 seconds for each answer. Now, when you miss, you're eliminated until you wind up with one winner. Meanwhile, with every correct answer, our Raleigh scoreboard will double in value. It starts with a penny and goes to $500,000. We have 2 groups of contestants, and that makes a possible total of 1,000,000 pennies or $10,000. And now, here's Bill Goodwin.
Thank you very much, Jay. Thanks a lot. And Frank Pod from Chicago, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Optometrist.
I'm my best.
All right, here we go. Your subject panel is called An Apple a Day. So let's see if you all know your apples. Speaking of apples, Frank, if you want to keep calm, don't upset the what?
Apple cart.
Apple cart is right, Frank. Blanche Hirsch, still with apples, and you keep everything neat, and you'll have it in what kind of order, Blanche?
Apple pie order.
Apple pie order. Bonnie Johnson, brandy distilled from cider is sometimes called Jersey Lightning, but it's got a more famous apple name. What is it, Bonnie?
Applejack?
Absolutely right. Reuben Carson, how did a young girl like you know that? Reuben Carson. Jonathan Chapman was famous for wandering around and planting apple trees all over America. Can you give me his famous nickname?
I think it was Johnny Appleseed.
Johnny Appleseed is right. Reuben. Frank Pod, we're back to you. A popular up-and-coming young crooner named Charlie has a last name that fits your category. Do you know it?
Applewhite, isn't it?
Charlie Applewhite, very good singer. And here we go, Blanche Hirsch. Who was the famous Swiss patriot who shot an apple off his son's head?
William Tell.
William Tell. Bonnie Johnson, legend tells us that a famous 18th century English mathematician worked out the law of gravity after he was almost bopped on the head by an apple. Who was that?
Newton?
Isaac Newton, right. Reuben Carson, a famous dancing girl was featured in the movie Eve Knew Her Apples. And more recently, she was with Katherine Grayson and Howard Keel in Kiss Me, Kate. Can you name her?
Yeah, Ann Miller.
Ann Miller is absolutely right, Reuben. Okay, Mr. Frank Todd, Lady for a Day was the name of a famous picture all about an apple vendor called Apple Annie. Now, the stars were Warren William and a famous lady who played the role of Apple Annie. Who was she, Frank? You trying? Frank, I'm sorry. The answer is Miss May Robeson. Remember her? But you go over to Jay Stewart, and for Raleigh, he'll give you a $25 savings bond and a carton of king-size Raleigh cigarettes to pack with the coupon on the back. Thank you, Frank. All righty. Well, we eliminated Frank here, but there are 3 of us left to play, and we'll pay later. And you watch these pennies double up. And here we go. Round 2, and Blanche, we're going to start with you because Frank missed ahead of you. Your subject is Summer Serenade. Now, remember, with each new subject, we start easily, and we get a little harder as we go along. First, I want you to meet another Western friend of ours. This is our premiere in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. We've been doing the show in New York for 9 weeks and kind of hate to leave it, but had to come west. I want you to meet a fine conductor, composer, and all-around wonderful musician, Mr. Rex Corey. As I told you, kids, your subject is Summer Serenade. So here we go, Blanche Hurst. Here's a serenade for the old-timers, and let's have it, Rex. Okay.
In the good old summertime.
You are absolutely right, and that's the time it is now, Blanche. Bonnie Johnson, here's a Gershwin tune that fits the season just fine. You listen and name it. All right, Rex?
Summertime.
Summertime by George Gershwin. Absolutely right, Bonnie. Here we go, Reuben Carson. Summer starts in this next song, Reuben. And what is the title? Play, Rex.
June is busting out all over.
You are right, young man. Blanche, here we go. That great Gershwin song, Summertime, comes from a famous Gershwin folk opera. Can you name it?
Porgy and Bess.
Porgy and Bess is right, Blanche. I got a good panel here. Going to be hard to make any money on you. Going to have to give a lot away. All right, June is busting out all over, Bonnie. Comes from a famous Rodgers and Hammerstein show. Name it. Tune is busting out all over.
Oklahoma?
I'm sorry, honey, it's Carousel. But, Bonnie, you go over to J. Stewart, and you get a fine carton of those Raleigh cigarettes, of course, and a $25 savings bond from Raleigh cigarettes. And if you had $1 million, too, you couldn't buy a better cigarette.
And the penny on the Raleigh scoreboard has grown to 2,048.
Well, and here we go with our two. We got Mrs. Blanche Hurst and Reuben Carson left, and this is down the wire, isn't it, kids? Are you excited?
Yes.
Huh? Reuben, you're not. You look very calm.
I'm petrified.
But Blanche, we're up to 2,048 pennies. You know, it doesn't take long to really double them up now. And your subject is going to be desert days. And we're going to start with you, Reuben, because our young lady, Miss Johnson, missed before you, and it's going to be all about deserts. All right, here we go on this nice cool day in California. The lowest spot in the United States, Reuben, is a desert, and it's right here in California. Can you name it?
I believe that's Death Valley.
Death Valley is right. Okay, the biggest desert in the world, Blanche, is in Africa. Name it?
The Sahara.
Sahara is right. Reuben, water holes with green stuff growing nearby are garden spots of the desert called what?
An oasis.
An oasis is right. It has no sails. Blanche, it has no mast. It's got a stem and a stern, and it's called the ship of the desert. It's an animal. You name it?
Well, that would be a camel.
It sure would be a camel. Reuben, James Mason starred as the famous German Field Marshal Rommel in a hit movie with a title that fits your subject. It was Rommel's famous nickname. What was it?
The Desert Fox.
The Desert Fox is right. On the board behind you, in case you care to look, is 65,536. And here we go. All right, Blanche. The highest temperature, Blanche, in the world was recorded in the desert country of which Tripoli is the capital. Name that country for me.
Algiers.
Honey, I'm sorry, it's Libya. But, Blanche, you were just a wonderful runner-up.
Thank
and
you.
from Raleigh, J. Stewart has for you a $50 bond and, of course, a carton of those fine Raleigh cigarettes.
Thank you.
And you, Robin Carson, are the winner of the first round. And the penny on the Raleigh scoreboard has grown to a grand total of 65,536 pennies.
Yes, sure, that's what it is. You come over here, Reuben, because that's $655 and 36 cents, and we'll stand there and get a good photograph of you. You are nervous. I didn't realize it from over there.
Well, it's more money I've seen since I've been discharged from the Army.
I bet you found money in those upholsterers' chairs once in a while, no?
Just old love letters.
Oh, well, anyhow, I told you $655.36, and I want to tell you what we're going to do about it. Now, you won in this panel. You racked up $655.36. We're going to play with 4 more nice people from our studio audience. We take the sum they win, the sum you won, and we put them together, and you and the other winner play that off toward the end of the show, all right?
Fine.
Huh? I'll get some adrenaline for you. In the meantime, you know, friends, stick with me. One of the many nice things I like about Penny to a Million is that you folks at home can cash in, get wonderful gifts for free. So let's listen to Harry Hart. You listen to him, huh?
Oh, come in. I want to show you something. Some things I got free for Raleigh coupons. Look at this handy Master Barbecue grill.
Mean to tell me you got it free?
Right. And this little brown jug for free, too. And take this glass spinning rod and reel. This is a genuine Shakespeare. You'd pay $50 for it anywhere. But you can get it free for Raleigh coupons. And this little brown chest. Free. How about that?
Harry, that Raleigh coupon plan's the smartest proposition I've ever heard of.
It sure is. Just think you can get over 100 different gifts free for Raleigh coupons. There are 14 coupons in every carton, plain or tipped. That's why I buy Raleigh's by the carton. And hear this. If you had $1 million, $1 million, you couldn't buy a better cigarette than Raleigh. So smoke king-size Raleigh and save those Raleigh coupons.
Yes, sir, you smoke 'em and you like 'em. And I mean that to my panel, whom I want you to meet right now, ladies and gentlemen. Our next player is first Mrs. Edie Deutsch from North Hollywood, right?
That's right.
There is a Californian. I knew you must be. What do you do, Edie?
I'm an attorney.
You're a lawyer?
Yes, I am.
How'd you happen to go into law, Edie?
Well, my husband felt that since I did so much talking at home, I might as well get paid for it.
Yeah. Well, Lee George is next. Miss Lee George from Hollywood, and you're a native daughter, I understand.
That's right, Hollywood,
Lee.
California.
Wonderful. Good to see a real old native Californian on the show. Next to you, Jack Holloway from Los Angeles, also a native son?
That's right.
What do you do, Jack?
I'm a school teacher.
What grade, Jack?
4th grade.
In what school?
Cienega Elementary School.
Cienega. Well, good for you, Jack. I want you to meet on your left Mr. Martin Van Grove from Cincinnati, Ohio. But you're out here now, aren't you, Martin?
Right.
I mean, you live here. And you have a master's, I understand, from UCLA, a master's degree.
Right. I'm a physiological chemist, and I have a background in mathematics.
Wow. You know, I've always wanted to ask somebody, because I don't know. Could you explain Einstein's theory of relativity to me briefly?
Well, to put it succinctly, it's a mathematical expression in tensor notation of the physical behavior of the universe.
That man is right. Double attention. Well, kids, I don't want to hold you up because we want to get that penny started and doubling. And your first subject is going to be weather notes, all about music and musicals that tie in with the weather. So Rex Corey is ready, I can see. You title the tune, and you'll tell me what kind of weather we're going to have, Edie Deutsch. All right, Rex.
That's heat wave.
Just say it again. I heard you from here.
We're having a heat wave.
Heat wave, right. Miss Lee George, give me the weather report in this song. All right, Rex.
Stormy weather.
It sure is, and I thought Rex was going to play the whole song. Wonderful. Now, all right, here's the weather you always get, Jack, on a picnic. Would you name it? Okay, play, Rex.
April showers.
April showers, Jack. Right, and here we go with Martin Van Grove. Listen and title this one, please, Martin. All right, Rex, go ahead.
Garden in the Rain?
That was A Garden in the Rain. And back to Edie Deutsch. The song Heat Wave, Edie, comes from a famous Irving Berlin musical. Name me that show, Edie. Heat Wave.
Ethel Merman was in it.
I think she was. I'm sorry, Edie, as thousands cheer. You came awful close, but you go to Jay Stewart, and he'll give you a $25 bond. And from our co-sponsor, a Schaefer's Fine Line ballpoint pen. The ballpoint you can depend on. All righty, here we go. Down to 3, and we're going to start with Lee George. And because Miss Joyce missed ahead of you, and your subject is Get a Horse, all you kids. And we start with you, Lee, so let us saddle up and ride down some answers, shall we? A great racehorse who never ran in the Kentucky Derby, or Derby if you prefer, won practically every start in his career, and he was nicknamed Big Red. Can you name him?
Was it Man of War?
It sure was Man of War. You've been reading the form? Jack Holloway, a California-bred racehorse, copped the Kentucky Derby this year. Name him?
Swaps.
Swaps is right. For a school teacher, you know a lot about horses, boy. All right, Martin Van Grove. The horse that ran second to Swaps in the Derby has a kind of an odd name. Can you name that bangtail for me?
Nashua?
Nashua is right, absolutely. Lee George, a nag named Rosinante, was the pride and joy of what famous fictional knight?
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote. Right. Okay. School teacher Jack, Anna Sewell gave us one of the most famous books ever written about a horse. Can you name that storyline?
That's Black Beauty.
You knew before I even finished, didn't you? Okay, Martin, only one horse ever beat Man of War in a race, and it brought that horse great fame. What was the horse's name?
Wasn't Seabiscuit, was it?
I'm sorry, Martin, it was Upset. He upset the famous horse, but you go over to Jay Stewart, Martin, and he'll give you a $25 bond, and, of course, a Schaefer's Fine Line ballpoint pen. The ballpoint, that starts instantly.
And
Thank
the
you.
penny on the Raleigh scoreboard has grown to 256.
Well, sir, here we go, down to 2 and down the wire again. We're finished with racehorses because it's going to be fabulous California. How do you feel, both of you? Cool? Like me, you know, because I'm always cool. Never get nervous on the show.
No.
All right, Lee and Jack, here we go. The subject, as I told you, is fabulous California. Now, Lee, in San Francisco, you will find the longest single-span bridge in the world. Name it.
Golden Gate.
The ever-loving Golden Gate. Jack, right near here in Pasadena is one of the largest stadiums in the world. Name it.
Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl. And here we go, Lee George. You will find the tallest trees in the world right here in California. What are they called?
The redwood
Right,
sequoias.
the sequoias or the redwoods. Now, Jack, the highest mountain in the continental United States is in California, too. Name it.
Is that Mount Whitney?
Mount Whitney is right. Now, Lee, the world's largest reflecting telescope is the 200-incher atop what famous California mountain?
Mount Palomar.
Mount Palomar is right. Jack, here we go. The fabulous palace along the California coast, known as San Simeon, the home of what world-famous man?
William Randolph Hearst.
William Randolph Hearst. Here we go. 16,384 pennies. Lee, let's go. The gold rush of 49 got its start when a man named Marshall found gold on whose land?
Sutter's.
Sutter, at Sutter Fort, John C. Sutter. All right, Jack. California was the setting for the books of Mice and Men and The Grapes of Wrath, and they were written by a Salinas, California writer. Can you name him?
John Steinbeck.
John Steinbeck is right. Lighten up to 65,536, and Lee, listen to old Will. Early California is the background for the romance of the Indian Alessandro and his sweetheart in a famous book. You name the book.
Ramona?
Ramona is right. All right, Jack Holloway. Famous writer told about his adventures in the West and California in his book Roughing It. You name it?
Mark
Name the writer.
Twain.
Mark Twain is right. Well, we have hit the top of the panel, children. I haven't been watching it. There's a half. We got a $500,000 up there. Tell me, Al. We're up to a $500,000, so yank it out, boys. It just doubled from 262, 144. Oh, the next one. Watch it. Here we go for the $500,000 penny question. All right. Life in an old California mining town is told about in the story Luck of Roaring Camp by what famous writer? Please, no help from the audience. You know it, Lee?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
A few seconds. I'm sorry, it was Bret Hart. Somebody said it right down there. You got to watch that.
Didn't
But you
hear
were a
it.
wonderful runner-up, Lee. Thank you so much. And you go and get a $50 bond from Jay Stewart, won't you? And, of course, a fine, wonderful Schaefer Fine Line ballpoint pen. Thank you very much, Lee.
And you, Jack Holloway, are the winner of the second round. And the penny on the Raleigh scoreboard has grown to a grand total of $262,144.
Well, I tell you, that runs it. I'm sorry I blew it there a little. It's our California mathematics, I guess. And I want Jack to come over. You know what that comes to? $2,621.44, Jack. How do you feel about it? All right?
Good, yeah.
Great. Well, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take the sum won by our first panel and get that winner up, and then we take the money won by this panel and put you up, and you two fight it out to the finish right at the end of the show. All right?
All right.
In the meantime, I'm going to call back our finalists and start tugging at their wits. But first, you meet a sad little fella who will tug at your hearts, will you?
It won't right. Always breaks.
Oh, don't take it so hard. Your problem is solved. The Fine Line pencil stops needless lead breakage once and for all. This is Fine Line's patented sleeve tip. See how the writing strain is distributed over a far larger area? That's real protection for the lead. And with Fine Line's one-hand in and out lead action, you can adjust the lead instantly to the right length, and the lead never drops out. Now look at the other end. Inside the cap is this adjusting screw. Twist, and immediately you have a new supply of eraser. Extra long to start with, this Fine Line eraser can be extended again and again. These Fine Line features have given years of satisfaction to more than 19 million people. Make Fine Line your choice, too. $1.75 everywhere. Just look for the pencil with the white pearl center.
All right, the winner of the first round was Reuben Carson. The winner of the second round was Jack Holloway. And the combined total of the sum that you ran up on our scoreboard was $3,276.80. And here's what we're going to do. Bill Goodwin is going to keep firing questions at you until one of you misses. Then he'll fire one more question at the other contestant.
Now, if he misses, you'll whack up the money half and half. But if he answers it, he wins 75% of the total, and the runner-up gets 25%. Now, here's Bill Goodwin.
Oh, happy Bill. Thank you, Jay. Let's get sober now, all of us. You please be serious, will you, Reuben? Now watch it. All right, you ready? We'll start with you. Huh? Ready, Jack? All right. We'll start with you, Reuben. Walt Disney's new movie called Lady and the Tramp isn't about humans. About animals. What kind?
Dog.
Dog, sure is. Jack, the movie Foxfire stars humans. Jeff Chandler and Bob Waterfield's favorite Jane. Who's that? Jane Russell is right. Name the country for me, Reuben, ruled by Haile Selassie.
Well, there are two names for it. Abyssinia, Ethiopia.
Good for you, boy. Jack Holloway, name the country ruled by Juan Perón.
Argentina.
Argentina is right. And here we go, Reuben. Name the famous fighter. Name me the famous fighter who recently defended his light heavyweight crown by knocking out Bobo Olson.
Archie Moore.
Archie Moore is right. Jack. We'll go for 3,276. Let's go. Another recent championship fight saw a famous fighter lose his lightweight crown. Name him.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter's right, boy. Reuben and Carson, the islands of Guam, Tinian, and Saipan are in what famous island group?
The Marianas.
Marianas is right. Jack Holloway, in Greek mythology, the daughters of Zeus are known as the Muses. How many Muses are there?
I say 7.
You're awful close, boy. It's 9. I'm sorry you're wrong, but we asked Reuben another question. If he misses, you split it right down the middle. Reuben, we have 96 senators. How many United States congressmen should we have in the House of Representatives?
364.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 435, but you split it right down the middle even. Jack and Reuben, 50% is $1,638.40. Now we can take our time now that we've had all that excitement, huh? These, ladies and gentlemen, are Mr. Reuben Carson and Jack Holloway, and I had a wonderful time with you guys, my first show in California. I hope you did, too.
Had a great time.
Oh.
Thank
Did
you.
you? Well, we just moved out, and I hope you all like our show here in California. Come and see us, too. What are you going to do with $1,638.40, Reuben?
Well, I've always liked New York City, so I think I'll buy it.
Was a time when one of my relatives, an Indian, would have given it to you for $8, so maybe you can have it. Jack, how about you? What do you think about what you're going to do with $1,638.40?
Well, my wonderful wife is sitting down the second row. We just have a new house, and we're going to get some furnishings, I think.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Do you have any children?
Yes, we have 2 children.
2 kids. How old are they?
3 and 2.
Boys and girls?
2 girls.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have 1 boy and 3 girls. Of course, they're a lot older than yours. I don't know how that can be when we're the same. Well, there's his little wife. Well, what is You're a beautiful little mother. Reuben, is your wife with you at the show?
No, I think she's out using her charger plate.
Good luck. If she didn't see that, you can hide the money. Good night, y'all, and thank you very much. It's so long. From penny to a million from old Will Goodwin, I want to say goodbye for Mr. Rex Corey, who's our wonderful California musical director, and, of course, Alan Gilbert, our producer, and who's with me? Oh, Jay Stewart. I can't forget him. We're on the air every day on another network. We hope you'll tune in next week, same station, same time, when Schaefer Fine Line Ballpoint Pens will bring you penny to a million. I'll see you.
Which immediately precedes this program on most of these stations. The staff of Penny to a Million is flown from New York by American Airlines, America's leading airline, serving major cities throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Penny to a Million has been presented by Raleigh Cigarettes, the pack with a coupon on the back, and by the W.A. Schaefer Pen Company.
This is the ABC Television Network.